Daredevil Born Again, Series 1, Episode 7, titled Art for Art's Sake. Now, this episode, I thought it was good. Didn't thought it was fantastic. Last week's episode was fantastic. Sorry, episode 6 to be specific. But this episode made me realize this show's structure is very different from regular like TV shows, because this 9 episode show feels like a network television show in its structure, where you have a main story which is all dealing with Kingpin, but then you'll suddenly get these like little mini stories or mini arcs that cross over with different episodes. Like, the first one's about Matt becoming dead. Matt no longer being Daredevil, and the journey of him becoming Daredevil again. And then you got episode 6 and 7 being about Matt being Daredevil and having the classic superhero story where he's the hero, he's the villain, and the hero stops the villain and saves the girl, and all, hitting the superhero tropes. And then you have, and my guess for episodes 8 and 9, it is about the consequences of Matt becoming Daredevil again, and that's what I think it is. It's interesting because it feels very this networking. Meanwhile, we're so used to the arc being about, like, if it was any other show, it probably would just be about like 9 episodes of Daredevil versus Muse, or Daredevil versus the Kingpin, or Kingpin's political power, that kind of stuff, versus the route they went. And maybe just because originally this show was going to be 18 episodes, but it just felt like the structure of this show, it feels really unique in a way. It feels very different. But yeah, you do feel the gears turning. You do feel like, okay, we only got 2 more episodes left. It's all about the Kingpin's anti-vigilante task force. I think it's safe to say that's who our villains are, or who's going to be getting brutally punched and kicked and all those type of things. In the next 2 episodes, definitely that they're going to meet their hero, the Punisher, through which if you saw paparazzi set photos, well, Daredevil and Punisher team up, so which is going to be quite interesting. My guess that's going to be for the big finale, if I had to guess. But it's like, as I said, I like the episode. It's kind of exploring the themes, and some things are quite shocking with the character, like the character arcs and the characterization of the kind of stuff. Like, Anessa. Like, I will say this: Anessa's a better character in the show than she ever was on the Netflix show, on the original series. Because Anessa in the original series, she was just the girlfriend. She was just Kingpin's girlfriend who just kind of did whatever he said. Well, this time she is a mafia boss. She is like she is the product of her husband, and you find out that people prefer her to be the Kingpin. You find out that people think she's a better job, and the only way to take down the throne is take down the throne. To have Vanessa be the Kingpin, you had to take out Wilson Fisk, which was just shocked by the final, like minute where she orders a hit on her husband, which I really think what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes is Anessa is going to get killed. This is going to be the final season we see Anessa. Yeah. Because the only sense of humanity that Wilson Fisk has is Anessa. So it's like, what happens when that's gone? And I think Wilson's going to be the person, taking her life. Because it's like, what happens when that's gone? You're going to get this brutal, more dangerous, more like Homelander level shit going on with a Kingpin who has nothing to lose, who has nothing to gain. And technically, all he's going to do is blame Matt. He's just going to blame Daredevil, and he's going to blame whoever teams up with him, associations, and all that kind of stuff, for when it comes to season 2. And it's just, like, you're just thinking, like, it's setting up the groundwork for that. And I'm curious how they deal with that storyline in the final 2 episodes. You got Muse in this, which once again, they wrap up the Muse storyline. They make him a really, like, they have a short period of time to make us be invested with this character. And they make him, like, at least somewhat terrifying or threatening, and a sense of, oh my god, what's he gonna do? And him, like, torturing and having this, like, weird, mess up sexual, like, I don't want to be that guy, but was I really hinting that if there wasn't the knock on the door, or Matt didn't, or Daredevil didn't crash into Heather's office, that some really disturbing shit was going to happen. And it's going to be clearly. And, they kind of give Muse, like, the typical serial killer origin story, which is like, I have overachieving parents, and they didn't solve my potential, and, the world didn't understand me, but they will now, and it's like, but, it makes him, but they found a way to make it believable. They got an actor who, is crazy, but not, like cartoony crazy, and you make it, like, for the short time that we have, it's good. And Matt, the fight scene between Daredevil and Muse, not as great as last week's episode, not as great as episode 6 and 5, but this fight is also good. I mean, it's a little bit choppy, a little bit quick-cutty, still can see what was going on, but I was like, it's cool seeing the Daredevil outfit during the daytime, so that's kind of cool. But honestly, I'm like, guys, like last episode 6 was just mids and wides, but the odd close up. And I was like, guys, that's all you need. You don't need to have sometimes it does feel like that when it comes to action sequences. Sometimes in the action sequences, there's that sense of, like, the director wants, like, the close up on the fist, touching the, MCU, ECU, screen close up on the fist, and then it's another screen close up of the air, and then it's a screen close up of the fist touching the face. Like, it's just, sometimes I'm like, guys, just a minute why. Let the action show itself. Sometimes you're thinking, I thought John Wick would show you guys how to do action, but no, we're going to do fucking quick cuts. Fine. But the choreography is great. And it's quite interesting that they do find creative ways because, if you think about it, when it comes to Daredevil, he's just a guy with a billy club. So they do find creative ways of have him use the billy club. And honestly, it's more brutal in this. Like, and it could be a sense of him enjoying it a little bit too much. Like, him enjoying being Daredevil. That he believes Daredevil is the true self. You know what? That could be the arc of the 2 seasons. And maybe, he shows up in Spider-Man, Avengers, or Doomsday, whatever, or we know. But this is a good arc, which is using, like, drug addiction. Matt is addicted to being Daredevil, and for 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons, how long they want to make the show, they make Matt realize that he is over, and he's it's closure. Matt never got closure. Now Daredevil, to closure of becoming Daredevil. And then he gets to, be recovered in a way, because there's a evil smile from episode 6, the brutality of him. There's that shot that we haven't seen yet in the context of the show of him absolutely like smiling, so you can kind of sense like he's enjoying this. This is fun. There's a level of adrenaline for him. You know, I mean, so yeah, it's a lot of things. It's fine. I said this episode's fine, and good. There's stuff I can need to talk about. But we only got two more episodes left. For series 1, and I think it's easy. It's all about the task force. It's all about the task force. Wilson Fisk knows who Daredevil is, so he's gonna probably say, "Go to this blind man's place." Which I will say this: would people believe that a blind man is Daredevil? That's my question. But then you live in the MCU, so everything's possible, right? Like in the Netflix show, yeah, people will. That's a good question. But now the Netflix show is part of the MCU. You start thinking, well, this is a universe where, where Spider-Man exists, and soon the X-Men and Fantastic Four and Iron Man, Thor and Captain America and Captain Marvel and the Guardians of the Galaxy exists, and everybody got 5 years of people, half the universe disappeared, and giant robots and all that. So you really don't know. Maybe the mindset is like, yeah, we live in this crazy world. Yeah, of course we can believe a blind guy can do all the stuff that Daredevil was able to do. But anyway, because that's a decent question. Also, the question of, it's interesting with Wilson Fisk having been so so anti-superhero, right? And the word Avenger never gets brought up. Like, you live in a world where the Avengers exist in the MCU, and everyone's like, well, he's bringing up news, isn't that great? That would be the one question I would have the show on, which is, when anytime there's a conversation with, Wilson Fisk, reflecting the concept of vigilantes, would naturally the Avengers will come up. Like, it's just, anyway. But maybe they don't want to make it so self-contained. Reference like episode 5, reference Miss Marvel being the right world, and also it kind of assumes that with Matt not knowing who Miss Marvel is in episode 5, it kind of shows like, look, we know what's happening in the MCU, but doesn't mean the characters inside in the MCU know the events that happened. So it's just a natural thing. So anyway, comment below. Let me know your thoughts of episode 7.